Welcome to the baseballswing.com. Joe Colucci here with you. So Richard Schenck, the Teacherman, ran across, it was actually sent to me from a student, something he said, and I want to play it through for you and then kind of give you my thoughts on it. So have a listen.
That what is missed by virtually every coach out there is the weight back launch position. They don't understand that the swing of all the greats is launched from their rear leg, and the weight shifts as they launch, not before they launch. But if you watch Major League Baseball and minor leagues and colleges and high schools, they're allowing hitters to shift their weight before they launch the barrel. It's death when they reach their athletic limit. Some of them get by, some put up big numbers doing that in high school and college, maybe in the minor leagues, not very likely, but maybe. And all of a sudden, that pitching reaches a level that it's top notch, and now their athleticism is not enough.
Okay. I had a hard time not talking over that and stopping it, but hey, look, this guy has got a big following. He has coached up Aaron Judge with great success. Some other players, I guess, I'm not really aware of any of their successes, but anyway, he's got a huge following. So would I love to have that following? Absolutely. Not to the extent where I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and profess something I know to be inaccurate. So just to go back over what he said, and this is, I guess he's including me in this because I'll tell you what, I'm missing it. This rear-legged launch stuff. I don't know. I think I have an idea of what he's trying to say, but even that doesn't make sense to me. So he mentioned the swings of all the greats is launched from the rear leg. Okay, that in itself. And if you don't do that, it's death. So I'm going to play through some of the greats, current players, older players, all the way back to Babe Ruth. So I'm going to watch these swings here, and at some point I'm going to, let me just kind of grab it here with Tatis. So let me tell you what's all the greats have in common. I'll start with Machado, it's fine. They have some sort of load, and there's some commonalities there, just something to be kind of learned. But what they all do, and I mean all the greats, not including Aaron Judge, because he is, to a large extent, swinging like Schenck wants him to, although not to the extent that Schenck demonstrates it or teaches it. But regardless, so he excluded Judge from this list here. But I just randomly picked really good hitters and said, all right, what are they all doing the same? So they move forward, okay? And they slot the bat somewhere while they're moving forward. And by sliding the bat, I mean basically, you see when Machado is starting down here, he gets the bat barrel lowered. And you can see from here, bat barrel lowers, and that leads to a position where his left arm is kind of draped across his chest. If we go back a couple of frames, all these hitters slot the bat. All of them move forward. All of them slot the bat to their rear, meaning for Machado, a right-handed hitter, to his right side. So there's room for the bat to slot, which leads to the arm bar or the arm draping across the chest. They all connect their rear elbow with their rear hip or the right side. And then they all turn into impact and so on. So let's watch Tatis. He slots the bat. His right elbow is connecting with his hip. He's moving forward, and he turns through the ball. So you explain to me, he's not on his rear leg, right? He's pretty much into heel plant, kind of 50-50. Has he launched yet? Because I don't see any launch here. Yet Schenck said all the great hitters in history have a rear-legged launch. He hasn't launched at all. He's sliding the bat. He's still moving forward. He's not hanging back. And then he's just rotating into impact. Focus on what is important. Get this bat slotted on plane. Roughly at some point you want it 90 degrees to your spine angle or dissecting your spine angle at a 90-degree angle. And then just ram into the ball. Progress forward here with Mike Trout. So show me where the rear-legged launch is. This guy is fully onto his, center, with probably more weight on his right leg. He has not launched at all. He will get that right arm, elbow near his right side. He's slotting the bat as it lowers into impact. And then the other commonality here, at impact, right elbow connected to some degree, provided you have good timing on a particular pitch with the right side. Left arm, to some degree, draped across his chest. So these are the things that all great hitters really do. I'm just going to kind of play this through now and kind of talk over it. Watch them all. They move forward. They slot the bat. They connect the right elbow to the right side. They turn through impact. And when they're at impact, they are in a predominantly connected position. The only reason elbows would bend, meaning your lead elbow or your hands would get out in front of you, is if you're fooled, if you're early. Yet, I watched Aaron Judge with a ball 2 feet in front of him hitting off a tee, practicing a disconnected position. Not a position that really looks kind of like, I guess, the goat of my swing philosophy here, Griffey. Okay? He is not rear-legged, guys. He's fully moving forward and embracing this thrust into impact, into the hitting zone. So, arm bar straight across his chest. Bat starting to flatten back behind him. And then just look at this impact position. Okay? Arm is actually connected to his chest. Now, look, he's got a tremendous amount of flexibility. While I don't think most of us can achieve this position, it should be the goal. His left elbow connected to his left side. That's what I mean by connected. All right? And he's transferring weight and thrusting into the hit. Good extension going through. Now, I put Reggie in there for a good reason. Because he's a guy that kind of hung back over his rear leg. And I don't know if this is what Teacherman's really thinking, or I don't know what he's doing. But regardless, Jackson will start forward with his head, his body. There's a little bit of movement forward, but he stays predominantly over that right hip socket. That's fine, because it really doesn't matter, guys. It's probably preferable if you move into the ball a little bit. Maybe not a ton, but you can if you want. But Reggie's comfortable hanging back here, and his weight is, I would say, clearly over his, inner side of his right hip. Now, at this point, the important things. He's got some room to his left. The bat, as you can see from this angle, is starting to flatten that bat barrel. It's getting slotted. It's getting on plane. That's important. The fact that it's happening early and behind him or to his left, that's important. He turns into impact from here. And he's extremely connected at impact. Again, similar to Griffey. Lead arm up against the chest. Left elbow here up against his left side. These are the things that are important. Rear-legged launch or whatever the hell this guy's talking about is not important. It's counterproductive, actually. It can lead to disconnection and impact. It can lead to a lot of things, and there's truly no benefit. So we clearly disagree, but that's fine. Kind of a play through here. Get a look at Hank Aaron. Does he look rearward here to you, or does he look like he's moving forward? Is his bat still up in the air, or is it the barrel slotting? And wow, look at that, the dreaded armbar. It's amazing how all these great hitters through time have done similar things against or exactly the opposite of what Richard Schenck teaches. Willie Mays, he was okay. Here we go, bat slotting, weight moving forward. All right, we move on to Babe Ruth. Little bat tip there, beautiful. Look how much he moves forward. While he's moving forward, his bat is slotting. Okay, gets nice and flat. Arm bar across the chest. Again, not a necessity. Most of these guys that are excellent athletes like this are also very flexible. They can likely get in positions that most of us can't. Again, the goal is to be, for a left-handed hitter like this, get your hands out to your left a little bit so that bat has room, and the inclination is to slot it and get the barrel down. And then just kind of rotate into it and find your way through it. But there is no hanging back in any of these guys. So I don't know what the hell Richard Schenck is talking about. And look, I got no beef with the guy. I would love to be coaching Aaron Judge. I'd love to have his following and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. But that's not the purpose of this channel. All right, I want to speak the truth as I understand it, as I know it. But to his comment about most of the instructors out there just don't get it, just don't realize it, he's incorrect. What he doesn't realize is what the greats are really doing. I don't know what he's looking at. That he came up with this thing that, hey, this is the way the bat's to be swung and the only way. It simply isn't. A note here while we're looking at Reggie. Barry Bonds was the guy that I guess Schenck supposedly modeled his theory off of. And that's fine. Bonds was tremendous. He was great. The challenge there is, and Bonds did stay back a little bit like Reggie over that back leg, is he's not snapping the barrel back or doing anything that I see Schenck talk about. Maybe it's just a feel and real thing where he's trying to get you to overfeel it and then just do a little bit of it. But, even his prized pupil, Judge, doesn't do it like he's talking about. Which, to a large extent is neither here nor there. I watched hitting instructors, Jamie Savalas particularly. I was a huge fan of his and learned a lot from him. And to a large extent, I was coming out of an environment where I was a player and didn't really know what I was doing. And over the years and decades at this point, I started to figure it out. And Savalas really confirmed a lot of what I felt, but really wasn't beating my chest about. But when I started to look at it more closely, like Jamie did with his research, I started to realize, hey, wait a minute, I am right. I do know what I'm talking about. And I looked at all these greats, not just Barry Bonds, but yes, including Barry Bonds. Where are the similarities? What are all these guys doing? And then over years and years and years of coaching kids and really seeing improvement, and more so recently in the past maybe half a decade or so, it's because what I'm saying is true, regardless of how many followers or likes I have or any of that. This is look, guys. If you're working with the Teacherman philosophy, you believe in it, and you're having results, I want you to be successful, and I'm happy for you. I don't want you to get your, all bent out of shape and just start screaming and yelling in the comments. Guys, if you disagree, say it. I don't care. I hope you don't, because I want you to get better. And it's not so much about what Schenck is teaching is garbage and it's against him. I want you to know the core principles that make up a really good swing and what's going to help you. And here it is in all these guys. Load up, get athletic, scap load, whatever you want to do. Get to some sort of balanced position moving forward as the bat slots. Okay? From here to there. Bat barrel drops. From here, you're on autopilot because you're on plane. Just turn into it. Don't feel like an armbar is a bad thing. Make sure your hands get out to your rear side, in this case to his right for Machado. And really then just turn into impact and kind of figure it out. But look, I could have picked any number of hundreds of guys and you would have seen this same similarities. This is not rear-legged. It simply isn't. So before you start blasting me in the comments, Teacherman goggle wearers, explain to me this one frame. And you explain to me how Mike Trout is rear-legged. And if you can do that, well, you'll be the first. All right, look, I hate to be so negative on this and so hard on Schenck. I don't know the guy from Adam, obviously, and he's had great success. But the simple truth is what he's teaching is, I believe, to a large extent harmful. And certainly not the best way to go about understanding the swing and improving as a player. So if you truly do want to be a good player, I would suggest, hey, you listen. And you can listen to myself. You can listen, like as I mentioned, Jamie Savalas. I have the utmost respect for him. And quite frankly, learned a lot over the years from him as well. So regardless, once again, Joe Colucci with thebaseballswing.com. Welcome all your comments in the bottom. Negative, positive, whatever you think. And please check out thebaseballswing.com where you can book a lesson with me. Be happy to work with you. And or if you have a question and you don't feel comfortable leaving it in the comments, just shoot me an email over there. All right, guys, until next time, we'll see you.